Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we are going to compare the two best-selling 32 gigabyte DDR5 RAM kits on Newegg. These two kits have wildly different specs. The top selling one, which is the Corsair Vengeance, is 5600 CL36, and the next best selling one is G.Skill Trident Z5, and it is 6400 at CL32. So it's faster and has tighter timing compared to the Corsair, which a little bit slower and a little bit looser timing. Now we're going to compare these and figure out and see if this offers any benefit while gaming. Newsflash, in some instances it does, but not in all. But when you go and we look at the tables I put together comparing the performance of the two, you'll see where you are going to get some performance, where you're not going to see anything, and one game that's actually kind of an outlier, which was kind of odd. Now the system I am using, it is an AMD 7900X, and the motherboard is going to be an X670, Gigabyte X670 Aorus Elite AX, and that's going to be paired with the 4070 Ti. I'll probably do another video and see if there's any benefit of using the fast RAM when you're using an AMD system with an AMD GPU, the 7900 XT, but that's for another day. Right now, the basis for this video is trying to give you the information you need that if when you're building your system, do you want to go with the faster RAM or do you want to go with the slower RAM? What kind of performance you can expect out of the two while gaming. And also, if you were thinking of upgrading your RAM, is it worthwhile to upgrade to this RAM from something like this? But for the most part, I would say this video probably would have been a lot more cut and dry back a few months ago when the prices between these two kits were probably close to $100 difference. Back then, at that $100 difference, the performance you got out of this definitely wasn't worth it. You sticking with the cheaper Corsair, that would have been all you needed. Upgrading to or paying the extra $100 could have benefited you somewhere else than putting it towards your RAM. So, like for today, I would recommend where it's only a $20 difference. This is $95, where this is $115. Pay up the extra $20, get this, because hopefully over time they'd be able to push some more performance out of this RAM, and it's only $20 more, so it's a drop in the bucket if you are building a new system. However, if you're thinking of upgrading your RAM and trying to figure out should you upgrade to the faster RAM with the tighter timings or just keep the slower RAM that you might have purchased a while back when things were a lot more expensive, from that regard, stick with your old RAM. It's not worth it. The only time I would say it would be worth it to upgrade is if you only have 16 gigabytes RAM. Going up to 32 gigabytes definitely is well worth it. There's a lot of games, there's situations where you are pushing close to that 16 gigabyte limit, or you might be going over it, and that will definitely cause performance issue. So if you're looking to upgrade from 16 gigabytes, yeah, I would say buy this kit. If you're looking to upgrade from 32 gigabytes with the slower RAM, it's just not worthwhile. And you're going to see that in the benchmarks when we go through them. We're going to go through at 1080p, 1440p, and 4K. And then when you're looking at that, you can make your decision yourself. There are some instances where this is better. You do get a performance increase. There's certain situations where it does offer a benefit, and there is one game that I tested where this was kind of the outlier. We're getting some weird results, and this actually proved to give you much better results on the 1% low. So let's go ahead, we'll jump in and take a look at the gaming benchmarks. So like I was saying, these two kits are the top selling kits on Newegg. And for a $20 difference, really, this is the way to go. Not just because you get RGB just to make your system a little bit flashier, but there are some benefits to going to the higher RAM with the faster speed and the tighter timings. It does offer some benefits in certain situations, and hopefully, again, as things get better optimized, they'll be able to take advantage of the faster RAM. So jumping into the benchmarks, we're going to start off at 1080p. The first two columns is the average and 1% low at the 5600 RAM. This is the Corsair. And then the next two columns is the average and 1% low for the G.Skill 6400. And as you can see, at 1080p across the board, there are some benefits. But where we're seeing the biggest gains are, oddly enough, I don't know why this game is getting such a big boost at the 1% low, where there's only like a marginal increase on the average. But this does give a pretty good bump at the 1% low, where it actually starts to average out similar to Assassin's Creed Origin and Valhalla. Whereas if you see here under the 5600, it's for some reason the 1% low is definitely something's happening there to cause it to be so low. So aside from that, there's not much. Far Cry 5 does have a bit of a boost. However, that's because it's such an old game. The higher FPS, the 5600 is kind of bottlenecking that game, whereas the 6400 allows it to get a little bit more. But however, going from 182 to 198 FPS on average, Far Cry 5, that's definitely not worth the upgrade. However, if you're playing Modern Warfare 2 and you're playing at high frame rates, you're getting a huge boost with this game. The averages are jumping 34%, and the 1% lows are boosting up to 28% from 145 to 194, and then from 85 to 109. So you're getting at 1080p a pretty good boost. So pretty much the moral of the story here is, if you're running the game at high frame rate and your CPU is bottlenecking the game already, then going to the faster RAM with the tighter timings is going to allow that CPU to push a little bit harder and do a better job of keeping up with the GPU. However, is it worth getting those few extra FPS when it's already so high that it's not going to make much of a difference? It would make a difference in Modern Warfare 2. We're also getting a little bit of a bump in Fortnite performance mode, but not a whole lot. But that's kind of the decision you have to make using these numbers. Is it going to benefit the type of games that you play and what you do to play? If it's competitive, this is definitely going to help smooth things out. Now moving on to 1440p, we're going to see the frame rates are going to come back down a little bit, and you're not going to be bottlenecked as much by the CPU across the board as what you would be at 1080p. So the CPU is already doing a pretty good job of keeping up with the GPU, and in that case, you're going to see some of these performance numbers decrease. Any gain you would have had on Modern Warfare 2 kind of evaporated. It's still showing a pretty good 1% low. However, the average, it is showing a decrease of 2%, but I would put anything within 1 to 3% within the margin of error. It's pretty negligible, and from my standpoint, there is no benefit for the most part across all these games. Again, though, for some reason, Assassin's Creed Odyssey at the 1% low, you are getting a pretty significant bump using this RAM, going from an average of 6 or a 1% low of 60 up to 89. So for some reason there, it does help out that game. And it isn't helping out Assassin's Creed Origin a little bit, but that would be one of those things that, in my opinion, wouldn't be enough to, lean me towards upgrading to this RAM kit, or to a faster RAM kit in general. And then, of course, when we move off to 4K, it's even worse there. There's practically across the board not even any change. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, we're still seeing a little bit of a boost, and Fortnite, we're seeing a little bit of a boost as well. But looking at everything else, there's not much of a difference between 5600 and 6400. So, in my opinion, what this is boiling down to is the faster RAM with the tighter timings allows you to push your CPU harder if the CPU is bottlenecking your GPU to begin with. If there's no bottleneck, it's not going to it's not going to help you. So if your GPU is already running at 99, 100%, you're not going to see any difference by going to the more expensive, better RAM kit. If the GPU is not running at 100%, you are going to see a benefit because it allows your CPU to push a little bit harder and keep up with do a better job of keeping up with the GPU. So back to recapping, if you're building a new system, definitely fork over the extra $20, get the better RAM kit, because hopefully over the long run, they'll be able to do better optimization and push more performance out of it. If you're looking to upgrade, it's not worth it. Again, it depends. You'll have to make that decision yourself using the information that I provided. But in general, based on especially like the 4070 Ti, which is more of a 1440 4K gaming card, you're not going to get much of a benefit. And that money could be better spent elsewhere. Anyway, if you found this video informative or helpful, like the channel or subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. And I do plan on doing this over again with the 7900 XT just to see if pairing it with an AMD CPU and an AMD GPU, if there's any benefit there at all. Anyway, have a good one.